Well, for more on this, I'm joined by Nate Lerner, the executive director of Build the Wave. Nate, so we can expect this to pass in the House. Likelihood that it will pass in the Senate, I guess, is my question, given we've heard a number of Republicans may be defecting from Trump's declaration of a national emergency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, several Republicans have been defecting and coming over to the Democrat side and saying they plan to vote for the bill to block the national emergency. What's interesting, though, is they've said they're supporting it not because they don't think there's a national emergency, but because they're worried about how it's undermining Congress's power of the purse, which is their biggest check on the executive branch, their ability to create a budget and pass it and present it before the president to utilize in his executive office. So they're more concerned about it being undermined and then being used by Democrats on the flip side if they win in 2020 or in future years. So they're more concerned about the larger picture. One of the issues, though, is that even if the bill does pass the Senate, Trump has said he's going to veto it, which is a concern as well.
And that is exactly what we heard from President Trump when he announced this national emergency. We knew he was gearing up for a battle, so it's highly likely that he's going to veto it. So I guess what is the sense of both of the chambers of Congress going through the motions here?
Yeah, it's really an interesting point right now because of this veto threat. I think a lot of Republicans, even though privately they may be very against this national emergency and very against the undermining of Congress's power of the purse, they're too afraid to publicly come out because they know, number one, Trump is just going to veto the bill, and number two, that their voters back home are going to side with Trump on this. A lot of Republicans right now have been too afraid to stand up to the president because their voters side with him rather than them. They're seen as part of the Republican establishment, and the Republican establishment is losing power every single day, and it becomes more and more the party of Trump. So it's unclear what's going to happen. My guess would be that hopefully enough senators on the Republican side will do the right thing to at least pass the bill and force Trump to do a veto, which I think would be highly unpopular and is only going to put him in a weaker position in 2020.
Certainly the actions of both Democrats and Republicans, Nate, are being watched very closely with yet another presidential election, 2020 right around the corner. We've seen a number of Democrats enter the race. How much do you think the actions of politicians are factoring into this race right now?
Well, this early, it's hard to say. You have seen a lot of senators, especially who are running for office. It's clearly influenced the way they vote and the bills they put forward. They want to show that they're thinking ahead to the larger picture, and then they're acting. They're pushing progressive values as well as the party moves more to the left. And I think one thing that's interesting too is I think Trump's getting a little jealous. He doesn't like all the limelight being on the Democrats, and he's publicly said he wants to start causing chaos within the party, which is why I think it's important for Democrats to remain unified, even as we support different candidates, to recognize we're all on the same team going towards the same goal, which is defeating Trump in 2020. And I think this national emergency, though, is a great example of something that can unify us and also then presents us the opportunity to declare a national emergency for guns and for climate change and minimum wage down the road. So if Republicans want to go down this path, it's something we can do as well 2 years from now.
All right. Nate Lerner, appreciate you being with us out of New York. Thanks for that.